Far away in a distant galaxy, there is a planet unlike any other. It is home to a highly advanced civilization, not humans, not robots, but cats, intelligent, powerful, and far more developed than anything on Earth. This planet is called Planet Meow. For thousands of years, Planet Meow thrived, but the planet sits in a dangerous part of the galaxy, directly in the path of a constant meteorite flow. Over time, the endless rain of space rocks began to damage the planet. The land cracked, the air changed, life became harder, and slowly, Planet Meow began to decline. The cats had no choice. They made the most difficult decision their civilization had ever faced. They would have to leave their home and find a new one. Thousands of years ago, the king of Planet Meow sent a group of warrior scouts to Earth. Their mission was simple: go to this new planet, study it, and report back. Were the living conditions good enough? Could their people survive there? The scouts never came back. What actually happened was something the king never expected. When the warrior cats arrived on Earth, the humans did not attack them. They did not fear them. Instead, they welcomed them with open arms. They fed them. They gave them warm places to sleep. They devoted their love, their time, and their complete attention to these cats. They even treated them like gods. The warrior scouts, one by one, forgot all about their mission. They got comfortable, they got happy, and they stayed. Now, thousands of years later, King Meow decides it is time to try again. He calls upon his greatest and most powerful warrior, a fearless fighter named Simulu. The king gives him a clear mission: travel to Earth. Find the warriors who were sent thousands of years ago. Gather information about whether Earth is suitable for their people to move to, and come back with answers. There is one very important thing the king warns Simulu about. He carries a special artifact, a powerful object that holds the abilities and strength of the Meow warriors. This artifact is everything. If Simulu loses it, his body will begin to disappear. He will lose all his powers. He will cease to exist. Simulu listens carefully, accepts the mission, and sets off toward Earth. On Earth, in the busy and lively city of Hong Kong, a man named Sao Lung is having a very bad day. Sao Lung was once a celebrated goalkeeper, one of the best in the country. He had a brilliant career, a loyal fan base, and a reputation that made people proud. But those days were behind him now. He had retired, and the transition to normal life had not gone smoothly. Today, he was trying something new. He had landed a job as a soccer match commentator, someone who narrates the game for television audiences. He was confident going in. He knew soccer better than almost anyone. But knowing soccer and talking about soccer on live television are two very different things. Within the first few minutes of the broadcast, it was clear to everyone, the producer, the crew, his colleagues, and every single viewer watching at home, that Sao Lung had absolutely no talent for commentary. None at all. He stumbled over his words, said the wrong things at the wrong moments, and made the broadcast awkward and painful to watch. He was dismissed before the game even ended. This was not the first setback. A year earlier, Sao Lung had received a large sum of money after his final professional match. It was enough to set his family up comfortably, but somehow every cent of it disappeared. Bad decisions, failed investments, and a string of unlucky events left him with nothing. Since then, he had tried everything. He sold electronics. He sold neckties with secret hidden pockets for storing cards. He tried one business after another, always hoping the next one would be the big break his family needed. His wife, Lai Chu, was a woman of patience, but even her patience had limits. She had once dreamed of being an actress and model. She had worked hard, attended auditions, and pushed herself. But her career never took off the way she had hoped. The only work she ever managed to get was in the most embarrassing and low-quality advertisements imaginable. Eventually, she let go of that dream and focused entirely on her family. Every morning, she woke up before everyone else, got the house ready, and made sure her family started the day with a proper breakfast. She kept everything running. She was the engine of the household. Their oldest child, Yao Choi, was a teenage boy with a camera permanently attached to his hand. He loved recording videos, especially pranks. He would set up tricks on the neighbors, film their reactions, and laugh about it later. He got caught by the police more than once because of his stunts. But his real dream was to become a film director. He had passion, creativity, and an eye for interesting moments. He just needed to find better subjects than unsuspecting neighbors. And then there was Yao Yao, the youngest child, and perhaps the most remarkable person in the entire family. Yao Yao was born with a disability in her left leg. It made walking difficult and running nearly impossible without the help of a special supportive device. But Yao Yao refused to let that define her. She went to school. She tried to participate. She smiled even when things were hard. The world, unfortunately, was not always kind in return. Her physical education teacher would not let her join her classmates during gym class, always worried she might get hurt. The other children, not knowing any better, kept their distance. Some of them made fun of her. None of them wanted to be her friend. So Yao Yao was alone. Every single day. One afternoon, walking home from school with that familiar loneliness sitting heavy in her chest, she stopped at a park. She lay down on the grass and looked up at the clouds drifting slowly across the sky, and quietly, in the way children do when they have no one else to talk to, she asked God to send her a friend, a real one. Up in space, Simulu was finally approaching Earth. He was moving fast, full of purpose, ready to complete his mission. And then, just as he crossed through the planet's atmosphere, he realized something embarrassing. He had forgotten to check the weather. Lightning, a massive storm. His ship was struck hard. The crash sent him tumbling through the sky. When he finally hit the ground and pulled himself together, he realized the worst had happened. His artifact, the powerful object the king had specifically warned him about, was gone, lost somewhere in the crash. Without it, his body was already starting to fade. He had no powers. He could not make the great leaps he was known for. He was, for the first time in his life, completely vulnerable. He landed in a forest and began carefully moving through this strange, unfamiliar world, trying to get his bearings. Not far away, Cao Lung was leaving the recording studio after his disastrous commentary debut when his phone rang. It was Mr. Lam, his boss and the man who had been promising him a chance to coach a soccer team for months. Every time Cao Lung got excited about it, Mr. Lam came up with a new excuse for why it hadn't happened yet. This time, Mr. Lam had a different problem entirely. He was chasing after his girlfriend, who was already on her way to the airport. He was going on a trip with her, and it was happening immediately. The issue was his cat. He had no one to watch it. He asked Cao Lung to take care of the animal for a few weeks. Cao Lung, still hoping that Mr. Lam would eventually follow through on the soccer team promise, agreed without hesitation. That evening, he told his family. Lai Chu was not thrilled about having a cat in the house, but she agreed. Mostly because she hoped this favor would finally lead to her husband having a stable job. Meanwhile, Simulu was wandering through the forest when he spotted something colorful in the distance, a parasol, and it was exactly where his artifact had landed during the crash. He ran toward it, reaching desperately for the object, but his powers were already too far gone. He couldn't make the leap, he couldn't reach it, and his body was beginning to disappear. Just then, he spotted a car pulling up nearby. It was Mr. Lam, arriving to drop off his cat. Simulu looked at the cat in the trunk of the car and understood immediately what he had to do. He copied the cat's appearance, transforming his alien body to look exactly like an Earth cat. The real cat, however, had watched this entire transformation happen right in front of its eyes. Understandably terrified, it turned and ran away into the night. When Mr. Lam asked Cao Lung to go get the cat from the trunk, Cao Lung walked over and stopped. The cat, looking back at him, was nearly 2 meters tall. He stared. Then he slowly guided this enormous creature into his house. Lai Chu took one look at it and fainted on the spot. The rest of the family came running. Everyone stared at the giant cat in complete shock. Everyone except Yao Yao. She looked at this enormous, strange, otherworldly creature and felt nothing but wonder. She walked right up to it, completely unafraid. When the cat winked at her, she ran forward and hugged him with everything she had. From that moment on, she decided this was her best friend. Cao Lung eventually managed to revive his wife. Lai Chu, upon regaining consciousness, did what any reasonable person would do after finding a 2-meter-tall cat in their living room. She decided to fight it. She went after the creature with everything she had. Yao Choi filmed the whole thing. Cao Lung physically held his wife back. Simulu, now going by the name Sai Lei in the human world, was furious. He had every intention of using his laser beam to eliminate this entire loud, chaotic family. Then he remembered. No powers, no laser beam, no anything. He looked down at Yao Yao, who was beaming up at him like he was the most wonderful thing she had ever seen. That night, Sai Lei sent out a signal, a secret call to gather all the Meow warriors who had been living on Earth for thousands of years. When they assembled, he expected to find fellow soldiers ready to help him complete the mission. Instead, he found a group of perfectly content, deeply pampered house cats who had absolutely no interest in going back to planet Meow. When he demanded to know why they had abandoned their duty, they looked at him like he was crazy. The life of a domestic cat on Earth, they explained, was incredible. Warm beds, endless food, humans who existed purely to love and serve you. Why would anyone give that up? Their suggestion? Tell the king to come to Earth himself. He would understand immediately. Sai Lei was disgusted. He called them cowards and traitors. He decided right then that he would set an example. He would destroy his Earth family. Then he would begin his plan to take over the entire planet. That night, He crept through the house with a kitchen knife, moving slowly down the hallway toward the couple's bedroom. He pushed open the door. Lai Chu was sleepwalking. She was standing in the middle of the room with an expression on her face so terrifying that Sai Lei stumbled backward in pure shock and fell straight off the second-floor balcony. He hit the ground hard. Above him, Cao Lung woke up, spotted his sleepwalking wife, and calmly guided her back to bed. This was apparently a regular occurrence. He had tied a rope around her to keep her from wandering too far during the night. Sai Lei picked himself up and tried again, this time Yao Choi's room. Yao Choi, half asleep, and assuming it was his mother trying to wake him up for school, grabbed his toy gun and fired it repeatedly at the enormous cat creeping into his room. In the chaos, Sai Lei stepped directly onto an electrical socket. He was electrocuted. After recovering, he tried one more time, Yao's room. He stood over the sleeping girl, claws ready, and then he looked at her face, peaceful, small, completely trusting, and he simply could not do it. He put his claws away, lay down on the carpet next to her bed, and fell asleep. The next morning, the family sat down for breakfast. Cao Lung tried patiently to get Sai Lei to eat. The cat refused everything, knocked a plate of noodles directly onto Cao Lung's head, and generally made a disaster of the meal. The family eventually gave up and left for the day. When they came home that evening, the house was completely destroyed. Sai Lei had torn through every piece of furniture looking for his lost artifact. Cushions ripped open, shelves emptied, drawers pulled out. When the search failed, he had gotten hungry and raided the entire refrigerator. Lai Chu saw the destruction and went straight for the cat. Cao Lung, in a move that had clearly become his signature technique for calming his wife down, kissed her. It worked. The whole family began cleaning up together, and as they sorted through the wreckage, they started finding things that had been missing for years. Old toys, lost keys, and then Lai Chu let out a gasp. Her bracelet, a beautiful bracelet that had been in her family for 3 generations, passed down from her mother. She had believed it was gone forever. She held it in her hands with tears in her eyes. The whole family turned and thanked Sai Lei. He had destroyed the house looking for his artifact, and accidentally reunited the family with something they had lost and missed deeply. Sai Lei stared at them, completely baffled by his own failure as a villain. He decided to try something more direct. He poisoned the milk. That evening, Cao Lung served him a generous plate of salmon with potatoes. Sai Lei ate every single bite in seconds. It was delicious. He pushed his plate forward, wanting more. Lai Chu went to serve him additional salmon, and that was when he realized the salmon had been cooked in the very milk he had poisoned. The stomachache arrived immediately and with tremendous force. He ran for the bathroom. He did not make it. That night, while recovering miserably outside the house, Sai Lei spotted 2 thieves approaching through the darkness. In a moment of pettiness, he opened the gate for them and let them in. The noise woke Lai Chu, who nudged her husband. They both crept downstairs and found 2 robbers standing in their kitchen, casually cooking instant noodles. Before the couple could react, the thieves grabbed them. When the children came running down at the sound of the commotion, they were grabbed too. Within minutes, the entire family was tied up on the floor. The robbers demanded valuables. Cao Lung, keeping his cool, began presenting them with his collection of merchandise. Neckties with hidden pockets, gadgets, the kinds of things he had been trying to sell for years, stalling for time. The family spotted Sai Lei watching from outside through the window. They waved at him frantically, not asking for help, but warning him to run, to get away before he got hurt. Sai Lei stood completely still. This family, the same family he had been trying to destroy for days, was tied up on the floor, scared and in danger. And their first instinct was to protect him. Something shifted inside him. He walked to the front door and started meowing loudly, drawing the robbers' attention. The 2 men, curious about whatever that enormous thing was making noise outside, walked toward the door. They were met with a force that sent them flying across the room. The family scrambled to their feet, untied themselves, and rushed to thank the giant cat who had just saved all of them. And standing there, surrounded by their grateful hugs and relieved laughter, Sai Lei felt something he had never felt before. He felt happy, and he had absolutely no idea why he liked it so much. Life in the household began to settle into something surprisingly warm. Yao brought Sai Lei to school one day, dressed in a costume and a mask, presenting him as her mother to meet with her teacher about a poor math result. The disguise almost worked, until Sai Lei sneezed and sent the mask flying straight into the teacher's face. The teacher, Mrs. Cam, was so disturbed by the whole encounter that she ended up feeling sorry for Yao and forgave the low grade entirely. Yao Choi, meanwhile, had been filming Sai Lei this entire time. One of his videos went viral overnight. Suddenly, brands and companies were calling from everywhere, desperate to sign advertising deals with this enormous, expressive expressive, impossibly charming cat. Within weeks, the whole family was busy shooting commercials. Sci-fi Lei's face appeared on posters all across the city. He was even cast in a movie, playing a hero who saves his family from a sorcerer. The film turned out to be an advertisement for potato chips, but still. During one of the filming sessions, Sao Lung was injured, saving Sci-fi Lei from a falling stage light. He threw himself in front of the danger without thinking. Sci-fi Lei saw it happen, and in that moment, every intention he had ever had about destroying this family quietly disappeared for good. But not everything was going well. While Sao Lung was recovering, he went out for lunch and fell victim to 3 convincing con artists pretending to be antique dealers. They showed him a treasure map and talked him into buying it for 3 million yuan, money that had come from the family's advertising earnings with Sci-fi Lei. Lai Chu found out when the bank called. She got in the car immediately, tracked her husband down using Yao Choi's phone, and arrived at the restaurant just in time to see the whole disaster unfolding. She also discovered, in the chaos, that a female teacher named Miss Lee was very enthusiastically greeting her husband. She hit Miss Lee first. Then she tried to stop the con artists, but they were already running for their car. They got away with the money. This time, Sao Lung's kiss did not work. Lai Chu was done. That money had been saved for something specific and deeply important. Yao Yao needed surgery, a procedure that could correct the condition in her leg and allow her to walk and run normally. It would cost 5 million yuan. They had been slowly, carefully building toward that number, and now they were back at the beginning. Lai Chu packed up the children and left. That night, Sao Lung sat alone in the house with Sci-fi Lei and told him everything, every mistake, every failure, the surgery his daughter needed and could no longer have because of him, the weight of what he had done to his own family. The next morning, Sci-fi Lei dragged the hungover, broken man out of bed and all the way to a soccer field. He positioned Sao Lung in front of the goal, right where he belonged, and started kicking balls at him, one after another. Sao Lung, moving on pure muscle memory and instinct, blocked every single one. Somewhere in those saves, the man started to come back to himself. Yao Yao, meanwhile, had signed up for a school relay race and invited both her parents to come and watch. She was determined to run. She was going to compete with her classmates. She was not going to sit on the sidelines anymore. On the day of the race, Sci-fi Lei had wandered outside and found something half buried near the ground, his artifact. After all this time, it had been there all along. He picked it up carefully and held it. At the track, the race was about to begin. Yao Yao scanned the stands nervously. Her parents weren't there yet. Then they arrived, from opposite directions, meeting in the middle. They immediately started arguing. Sao Lung tried to reach out and make things right. Lai Chu walked away and found a seat in the stands. The race started. Yao Yao ran her part of the relay. She was slow. She came in last when she received the baton. The gap between her and the others was enormous, and then she fell. Her parents ran from opposite ends of the track and arrived at her side at the same moment. As Yao Yao sat on the ground with tears running down her face, she looked at the two of them crouched beside her and said what she had been holding in for weeks. She was tired of seeing them fight. She missed her family. She just wanted everyone to be okay again. Lai Chu looked at her daughter's face. She looked at her husband, and just like that, the anger drained away. She forgave him. A short distance away, Sci-fi Lei watched the family come back together around the small girl he had grown to love. When Yao Yao saw him and ran toward him, he knew it was time. He asked the family to join hands, and then he used the power of the artifact to speak to all of them at once, not in words, but in something deeper and clearer than words. He told them the truth. He came from planet Meow. He had been sent on a mission, but he was leaving now. And when he left, a spell would be cast that would make every human forget he had ever existed. The family was heartbroken, but they understood. Yao Yao made one small request. The relay race was not over yet. She still had to finish. Could he stay just a little longer, long enough to see her run? She picked up the baton and ran. She was last. She was far behind. Everyone else had already finished. But she ran anyway, moving as fast as her body would carry her. And then something happened. The support equipment on her leg began to loosen. It fell away. And Yao Yao kept running. Not slower, not struggling, but running smoothly and freely, her legs carrying her forward as if they always could, as if everything had been healed. Everyone watching went completely silent, then erupted. Her parents stood frozen, unable to speak, tears streaming down their faces. Yao Yao crossed the finish line. She turned to find Sci-fi Lei and thank him, but he was already gone. The alien warrior was transported back to his ship. As he left Earth's atmosphere, a burst of light swept across the planet and every human's memory of him was erased. Back on planet Meow, Simulu stood before King Meow and delivered his report. Earth, he said, was heavily polluted, dangerously chaotic, and filled with unpredictable creatures. It was completely unsuitable for their civilization. The invasion was called off, but Simulu had failed his mission. He had gone to gather information to help the invasion, and instead he had sabotaged it. As punishment, he was condemned to remain permanently in the form of a chubby earth cat. He would never return to his original body. Weeks passed. Simulu sat on planet Meow and stared at the stars. He thought about the family every single day. The breakfast table, the chaos, the laughter, Yao Yao running toward him with her arms open. He missed all of it more than he had words to explain. Then one day, a spaceship passed by. He looked closer. Dogs, a whole crew of dogs, heading toward Earth. He quietly climbed aboard. When they landed in Hong Kong, Simulu went straight to the house he had come to think of as home. Sao Lung opened the door, looked at the large cat on his doorstep, and jumped back in alarm. Then the rest of the family appeared one by one, and each of them reacted the same way. Startled, confused. They had no memory of him. The spell had worked exactly as promised. Simulu turned to leave. His heart, whatever that meant for a cat from outer space, was broken, and then Lai Chu called after him. They remembered, all of them, not in their minds, but in their hearts. Somehow, through the amnesia, through the magic designed to erase every trace of him, the love this family felt had refused to be erased. They had never stopped waiting for him to come back. They had always known he would return, because some things cannot be forgotten. Not really. Not when they live in the right place, not in the memory, but in the heart.